8:10, graphing inequalities. We can graph an inequality equation, y is less than negative x plus 1, just like we can graph a regular line. So we're going to throw inequalities into these equations too. Very important, the line created when you graph an inequality is called a boundary, because we're going to shade in one side of that boundary because all of those points will work. And I'll show you as we graph this equation. First of all, let's find the slope and the y-intercept so we can put this inequality on the graph. The slope of this line is going to be what? Negative 1 or 1, correct. Let me fix that. There you go, negative 1 over 1. And what is the y-intercept going to be? It's also going to be 1. So we are going to put this graph, this line on the graph. So we'll start by putting, there's 1 dot, slope is 1, and the y-intercept is 1, and the slope is going to be down 1 and over 1 to the right, down 1 over 1 to the right, down 1 over 1 to the right, so on and so forth. So we're actually going to put a line in that position. This is where things are going to be different in this lesson. For equations that involve greater than and less than, and I'm looking down in the lower half of the slide right now, for greater than and less than equations, which is what we have, the boundary line is going to be dotted. It's not going to be a solid line, meaning the boundary line is not included in the answer. This is just like the open circle when you graphed your answer when you solved inequalities in Chapter 7. Remember, graphing, the open circle is for greater than and less than, but greater than and equal than, they actually had the closed circle, the solid circle. So we're going to put a line in on this, but it's going to be a dotted line this time. So now that we have our dotted line, we have to figure out what information works. We have to pick a point and find out if it works. My favorite point is the origin, 0, 0. It's always safe to pick the origin. So we're going to take the coordinates, 0, 0, and we're going to try them in our equation. So y is less than negative x plus 1. So we're going to substitute in 0 for y, and 0 for x. So we're going to simplify this. So we have 0 less than, well, negative 0, which is just 0 plus 1 is 1. Is 0 less than 1? That is true. So what that means is we selected the origin, this point right here. Because we selected that point and we tried it in our equation to see if it works, and it actually did work, we know that all of the points in the space down here will work if we pick them for our equation. If you were to pick a point above the line, it would not work. So if we were to actually pick 4, 0, which is this point right over here, we could try 4, 0, and you would see that it doesn't work. But we've already selected 0, 0, the origin, and it works, so we don't need to check anymore. It's very nice like this. So another example, now we have y is less than or equal to 2x plus 4. So this one is a greater than or less than or equal to equation. So for these types of equations, the words down at the bottom of the slide tell you that the boundary line is going to be solid, meaning that the boundary line is actually included in the answer. It's just like the closed circle when you graphed your answers back in Chapter 7. So from this, we can find that the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 4. So if we go to y-intercept is 4 and the slope is 2, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, we can actually put that line on the graph. This time it's going to be a solid line. So we will now have the choice of picking a point to decide where this equation works. The origin is always the best point to pick. It's the easiest math. So we will take y less than or equal to 2x plus 4. We will substitute in the coordinates of the origin for x and y. So we're going to have 0 is less than or equal to 0 plus 4. Is 0 less than or equal to 4? Yes, that's true. So we know that the origin works. So that means that all of these points on this side of the line will get shaded in because they all work, every single one of them. So with inequalities, we're not just looking at the solution of a line, we're looking at a region. So the region under this line that's shaded in red is going to be the solution to y is less than 2x plus 4. And on the first slide, y is less than negative x plus 1. The shaded region in red is the region that works and works for the solutions for these things, for this equation. Your work is on page 421, 10 to 26, the evens.